the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Yeah. Oh, oh. I break tradition. Sometimes my tries are outside the line. Yeah, yeah. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Oh. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten.
River call. Between rocking the boat and sitting down, between stirring things up and peaceably going along, we find ourselves here in community, each called from many different journeys, many different life paths onto this river road. Some are here because the rocking of the boat has been too much tumult, too much uncertainty, too much pain. Some are here with questions about where the boat is going, how best to steer it, and where this journey ends. Others are here as lovers of the journey, lovers of life itself. Here in front, beside, behind, each a passenger, each a captain, doing the best we can. Rest here in your boat with me, the river calls. Listen to how I flow, the sound of life coursing all around you. Let the current hold you. Let the current guide you. The river that gently flows through your soul whispers, "Come, let us worship."
Now we are going to offer words together as Reverend Chris lights the chalice in the Star King Chapel space. And thank you, Reverend Chris, for doing this for us today. We're going to do the chalice lighting responsively today. I'll read the chalice lighting words in short phrases, and I invite you to remain on mute and echo them back. I also invite you to take whatever physical form embodies these intentions for you. With the kindling of this flame, we reaffirm our commitment to accept life's gifts with grace and gratitude, and to use them to bless the world with the spirit of love. The white and the red candles are a tradition created to accompany the chalice lighting by our Emerita President, Rebecca Parker, and the green candle was added by Pastor Jacqueline. The white candle symbolizes violence, suffering, and death, and serves as a reminder that we gather in a time of war. The red candle symbolizes the abiding reality of love and the shared work to restore the human community and the earth to wholeness and harmony. We light the green candle today in honor of the earth, of the land. It symbolizes renewal, rebirth, and hope. Let this candle remind us that there is always hope for change and growth, for life to be made new. Now we'll have our land acknowledgement, led by Nicole Bruno.
Today, I have the privilege of joining you from the land originally stewarded by the Cedarville Band of the Piscataway tribe, and I live on the lands they inhabited during the winter. We also wish to name the other lands our worship teams are speaking from: Creek Land, Abenaki, Seminole Tribe of Florida, and other indigenous peoples like the Calusa and Tocobaga. I wish to honor what these lands are holding: stories, ancestors, life, dreams, both harm and harvest, and love and grief. As Summer Wilkie says, the land isn't a stagnant, inanimate object, and its value is not solely monetary. Land is a complex system of life. Ecosystems are always changing. They hold the shape of all who manipulate them and retain a record of terrestrial and cosmic influence. As you hold your land ancestors in your minds and hearts, remember that we also have the opportunity to influence the cosmic ecosystem towards a revolutionary reimagining, one centered in love, peace, and justice.
The Sankofa bird is drawn with its enormous neck turned so its head can face backwards towards its tail. This means that to go forward, you must go back to the past for wisdom, support, or whatever you're lacking. This concept asks us to bend our minds from thinking that the future is what holds the key to the present, and instead embrace the idea that wisdom is springing up from behind us, from the past. All we have to do is go back and get it. This can be anything from the perspective shift needed to make a decision to the loving embrace of a dearly departed grandmother. One step that we can easily take is a libation. I grew up with libations, so I hope it's all right that I brought a little bit of home with me. For those who need a refresher, a libation in its simplest form is a poured offering and honoring, often of the dead. You can use anything that pours as long as you're able to pour with intention. You can honor whoever or whatever you choose as long as it resonates with you. There's no one way to pour libation, so today we'll do it our way. Here I have a simple pitcher and a bowl from my kitchen. We'll use these to pour watery offerings of honor. After each pour, I will mark it with an ashe, meaning amen or so be it. If you feel called, I invite you to mark each pour with a similar word, phrase, or gesture that's sacred to you. Once the ritual is completed, I will take these liquid blessings and use them to feed plants around my home so that this offering cycle does not end. First, I pour libation for you, the you that you are, and the many yous echoing back through time. I honor you today, Ashe. I pour libation for this congregation that we have created with our presence. We honor ourselves, Ashe. I pour libation for the many versions of Star King that came before this one. We honor you, Ashe. I pour libation for the four directions. We honor the north, Ashe. We honor the east, Ashe. We honor the south, Ashe. We honor the west, Ashe. I pour libation for the spirit of remembrance, nostalgia, for the Sankofa bird, and the wisdom it contributes to the present moment. We honor you, Ashe. I pour libation for all ancestors known and unknown who hold our highest good as their priority. We honor you, Ashe. I pour libation for our communal ancestors, those who have nurtured the spiritual core of this community. We thank you. We honor you, Ashe. I now pour libation for our teachers, mentors, guides, and all those who have nurtured our spiritual growth. Those who wrote heroic books that guided us, preached sermons that changed our perspective, brought over a hot meal and a listening ear, gave the advice that we needed, and journeyed with us through the deepest parts of our soul's education. We honor you, Ashe. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
I now invite you into a sacred time of joys and concerns. You are welcome to share a personal milestone, joy, or concern in the chat during our time of meditative reflection. Those offerings which need a response will receive one from Pastor Jacqueline when she's back in her office. By sharing, we help hold and honor the needs of our faculty, students, and friends in the community. Wind, water, and fire, we call upon your elements of life and wonder. We call upon your ancient memory, your eternal rhythm, your spark of becoming. Who we are, where we stand. We hospice modernity. We cradle what must pass. We usher in life, awareness, and inner freedom. We breathe new worlds into being. I invite you now to take 3 deep breaths with me. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One last time. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Here in this circle, in this space, we welcome the sacred through our breath, through ritual craft, meditation, and mindful presence. We call upon our ancestors, luminous threads of of our lineage. We call upon creativity, imagination, praise. Feel the soil in your hands, the earth that grounds us. It holds the dust of those who came before, and the seeds of those yet to come. Its coarseness connects us to life's cycles of birth, decay, and rebirth. Feel the wind, the crisp breath that surrounds us. It whispers across mountains and deserts, moves through lungs and leaves alike. It carries our prayers, our grief, our songs. Feel the water, the living flow that sustains us. It quenches thirst, nourishes soil, craves and carves valleys. Reminds us that life is always moving, reshaping, returning. Feel the fire, the ancient flame of creation and transformation. It warms, it scorches, it burns away what no longer serves. From the coals of hospice earth, fire lights the dawn of possibility. The magic of elements, their potions, their spells of grace, moves us toward a reality beyond hatred, beyond greed. A world where love repels hate, where humanity is celebrated in all its forms and kinds, where no one is cast aside, where resources are honored as gifts, not commodities, where community becomes the heartbeat of existence. Imagine this with me, a society where care replaces cruelty, where joy is not questioned, where difference is cherished, where no voice is silenced. I am spirit, I am grace, I am wonder, I am place. You are spirit, you are grace, you are wonder, you are place. Together we ignite the spark. Together we sound the word. Together we summon the boom that shapes a new world. One breath, one spark, one word. With each other, a new society takes shape. A world reborn, not through violence, but through wonder, imagination, and love. Earth, wind, water, and fire. We thank you for the magic. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for reminding us the new world we seek is already alive within us. Now, breathe deeply once more. Exhale. And together, say within or aloud, welcome into this space. Ashe.
Welcome, magic. seed, I am the tree, I am the flower, I am the bee, I am fire and I am wind, I accept love and also I give, I am loud and I am mighty, I am silent and I tread lightly, I am brave and monumental, I am modest, I am gentle, I am student and I teach, I am the sand and I am the beach, I am ease and I am power, I am bridge and I am tower, I am peace and I am wild, I am mother, I am child, I am many, I am few, I am God and God is you. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. Oh, I wish I could, I can. Who I wanna be, I am. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. Oh, I wish I could, I can. Who I wanna be, I am.
Good morning and good afternoon. When my daughter was little, we started playing a game called Tell Me a Story. It often happened when we saw something random, a chair flipped over in a weird place, or a mannequin on the ground at Target. We'd point to it and ask her to tell us a story about it, and soon we'd be off on a magic carpet ride through her imagination with a wild story that almost always left us laughing and in disbelief. That was kind of the point. We couldn't know the full story, but children remind us what it means to imagine without limits. They aren't bound by what's realistic. They live in the realm of what if. Today, I want to talk about imagination as revolution, how rest, wonder, and curiosity are not luxuries, but acts of liberation. The phrase revolutionary reimagining might sound grand, but at its heart, it's simple. It's about pathways to hope. Our ancestors had this kind of faith, the kind that believes in a future not yet visible. Enslaved people sang freedom songs without ever seeing the promised land. Women organized, marched, and resisted long before equality was imaginable. Queer and trans activists envisioned worlds where their existence was celebrated and not condemned. They were all dreaming beyond what was permitted, shaping the world with their faith and possibility. We are the lineage of their revolutionary reimagining, the living continuation of someone else's dream. We live in a world that tells us our worth is measured by what we produce, our output, our busyness, our hustle. We put children in school and from age 4, teach them that in order to be successful, imagination can only be used in certain times and places, mainly in creative writing and in recess. We're teaching them to grow into adults who participate in a capitalistic hustle culture as a mechanism of success. And as their parents, we work through all the hours of the day until we are so exhausted, we fall asleep as soon as we put our children to bed. We are too tired to play, and we are too tired to dream. To reimagine the world, we must step out of that system. As Audre Lorde reminds us, the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. Author and theologian Tricia Hersey, founder of the NAP Ministry and author of Rest is Resistance, reminds us that rest is not laziness. It is a revolutionary refusal. In a culture that worships productivity, rest becomes a spiritual act of rebellion. When we rest, we dream. When we dream, we imagine differently. And when we imagine differently, we begin to live differently. To rest is to say, I'm enough even when I am not producing. It's to reclaim our humanity from systems that profit off of our exhaustion and keep us from a different future. Percy writes, quote, "What rest is not escape, it's a return to our bodies, our spirits, and our divine imagination. To imagine a new world, you must be able to rest long enough to dream it up. The systems we live under fear our rest because rested people are harder to control." Unquote. Revolution doesn't always begin with protest signs or megaphones. Sometimes it begins with a nap, a deep breath, a song, or a moment of play. Children understand this intuitively. They play without purpose. They create worlds from cardboard boxes and sticks, believing in magic because no one has told them yet that they shouldn't. I ask you, when was the last time you played? There's a story in the Gospel of Matthew where Jesus says, "Unless you become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven." Maybe what he meant wasn't that children are innocent, but that they are imaginative, endlessly curious, open, and ready to see the sacred in the ordinary. To be childlike is to remain open, to wonder, to play, and to even risk looking foolish in our optimism and joy. Somewhere along the way, many of us traded imagination for certainty. We stopped asking, what if, and started saying, that's just how it is. It's hard not to when what ifs often begin statements of fear. What if they kidnap my loved ones off the street tomorrow? What if they close the government and I lose my job? What if it's too late? We are biologically wired towards negative bias because it helps keep us alive. But what if we started asking different what if questions? What if imagination is where liberation begins? What if outcomes can be changed? It's easy to see imagination as frivolous, but let's look at the science. I can't begin to understand quantum physics. I am in seminary for a reason, but quantum physics, which is the study of what happens at the smallest levels of existence, reveals something astonishing. Reality is not fixed. Light can behave as both a particle and a wave. Which one it becomes depends on whether or not we observe it. If no one is watching, photons, particles of light, spread out like waves, exploring all possibilities. But the moment we measure them, they collapse into one state or one reality. In other words, what we observe changes what becomes real. What does that say about prophetic witnessing? What could we learn if we knew that how we participate can change outcomes? In classic physics, cause always precedes effect. But in quantum mechanics, particles don't seem to care. In one of the wildest experiments, called the delayed choice quantum eraser, scientists found that our observations in the present could influence how light behaved in the past. Here's how it works. When a photon of light was sent into the experiment, it was split into two entangled twins, meaning whatever happened to one affected the other, even across distance. One photon went straight to a detector where it was measured immediately. The other took a longer path where scientists could decide, after the first photon had already been measured, whether to preserve or erase information about which path it had taken. Astonishingly, the results showed that the earlier measurement of the first photon lined up with the later choice of the second one, as if the photon somehow knew what its twin would encounter. In other words, the act of observation in the present seemed to sculpt the story of the past. Some physicists wonder whether time itself might be an emergent illusion, something that appears orderly only when observed at scale. Others think this hints at a universe that's fundamentally interconnected across all space and time. But what if the universe waits to see what we'll choose, as if creation itself is a dance of possibility and observation? What if we truly believe what most religious traditions tell us, that what we choose to see shapes what becomes possible? Doesn't that sound like faith? Science and spirituality, in their deepest forms, are not at odds. Both call us into awe and humility. Both remind us that we are co-creators of possibility. Even our minds mirror this truth. They work in patterns and algorithms that reinforce what we see, and what we seek, we see more of. The more we know, the less we know. And that's not discouraging, it's exciting. The sacred humility gleams with possibility beyond our imagination. That what it means to stand in the awe and mystery and say, here I am, part of this vast, shimmering web that is always becoming. If quantum physics tells us that how we see the present can even change the past, then maybe letting our inner child lead, the one who still believes anything is possible, could change everything. What if we could heal generational trauma through the healing of our own children? Our ancestors dreamed of us. They dreamed of a world where we could thrive, where we could chase our dreams, where we could carry their dreams forward and live a life they couldn't imagine. Our children remind us to imagine without fear, to be creative, to find joy and awe and wonder. Science reminds us that the universe itself can be changed depending on how we see it. If our ancestors, our children, and science all tell us that we can dream of a different world, who are we to say that we can't? And rest, deep, sacred rest, reminds us that we don't have to earn our worthiness to dream. Imagination is the seed of revolution. May we have the courage to rest, the wisdom to imagine, the humility to embrace mystery, and the faith to observe freedom into being. Because faith, at its core, is institutionalized hope, not wishful thinking, but structured courage. And courage, beloveds, is how we build the world our ancestors only dreamed was possible. May it be so.
For Love in a Time of Conflict by John O'Donohue. When the gentleness between you hardens and you fall out of belonging with each other, may the depths you have reached hold you still. When no true word can be said or heard, and you mirror each other in the script of hurt. When even the silence has become raw and torn, may you again hear an echo of your first music. When the weave of affection starts to unravel and anger begins to sear the ground between you, before this weather of grief invites the black seed of bitterness to find root, may your souls come to kiss. Now is the time for one of you to be gracious, to allow a kindness beyond thought and hurt. Reach out with sure hands to take the chalice of your love and carry it carefully through this echoless waste until this winter pilgrimage leads you toward the gateway to spring. May it be.
As we close our time together today, in which we'll be ending with some music, I wish to leave you with these words written by Sarah Lyons from the book Revolutionary Witchcraft. In magic, there's something called consensus reality, which comprises all the stuff people generally agree is real. Consensus reality dictates the rules of your life as to what is or isn't possible for you to ever experience. For instance, it's consensus reality that gravity pulls things down and that London is located in the United Kingdom. Back in the day, you could also say things like, America is the best country ever, or Jesus loves me, this I know, were a part of consensus reality. But now, many concepts that used to be agreed on have become fractured, true now to some and fake to others. Why? Because of the internet. The internet has created a whole new range of possibilities in terms of what is considered reality and what isn't. The world is round isn't even consensus anymore. All of this chaos can be a little scary and incredibly weird, but I think we should try to be optimistic as we can about it all. Things once considered impossible are not just becoming possible, but happening before our eyes. Consensus reality is falling apart, and I, for one, think that is a great thing. The old world is dying. You can feel it, and a new world that we haven't seen before is being born. This is a very magical time we are living in, where reality is reshaping itself, and we have the power to be the ones that give that new reality its next form. Now is the time to not to just take pictures of our altars, but rather to use them. Now is the time for revolution.
We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided rise, with spirit to guide us rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In a hope, in prayer, we're right here. In a hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here, and we rise. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us rise.